The crash. The Tellarite Queen Andromeda sobbed as a primitive human pulled her from the flaming wreckage of her starship. On the alien homeworld, the Tellarite King Orion watched the live video feed in stunned disbelief, his claws digging gouges into the control panel. Orion's going to lose his mind when he sees a human touching Andromeda, Draco muttered, his whiskers twitching as he watched the unimaginable situation unfold on the view screen. The high-ranking Tellarite diplomat shook his head. I still can't believe it. The Celestia was our most advanced ship. Sabotage is the only explanation for a complete engine failure like that. Someone wanted Andromeda dead. It was just supposed to be a routine diplomatic mission to Epsilon Eridani, Zephyr said in a hushed voice. Thank the gods the ship crashed on E42. If the humans hadn't been there, every Tellarite on that ship would be dead. Look at them, Zephyr murmured. They've only just discovered space travel, and yet they're organizing a rescue mission for a species they didn't even know existed. And that human leader, Austin Dixon, he led them right into the flames. He saved Andromeda himself. Draco nodded. The humans have courage, I'll give them that. But will it be enough to save them from Orion's wrath? The two diplomats fell silent as they watched the disaster unfold. The fragile peace between their species hung in the balance. If the humans failed in their rescue attempt, it could mean war. And if they succeeded, Orion would see that as an even greater insult, a primitive species daring to lay hands on his precious queen. The repercussions would be catastrophic. The humans had no idea what they'd started, but they were about to find out. The aftermath. When King Orion first heard about the Celestia crashing on E42, he went ballistic. He was absolutely convinced the humans had orchestrated the whole thing just to capture Queen Andromeda. But that's insane, Zephyr exclaimed. Why would they do that? Exactly. But you know how paranoid Orion can be. He was ready to declare war on the spot. Draco shook his head. But then something incredible happened. That human leader, Austin Dixon, reached out directly to the king. Dixon assured King Orion that the queen and her crew were safe and being cared for by their best doctors. He even offered to personally escort the Tellarite delegation back home once the Celestia was repaired. Can you believe that? A primitive human offering to play bodyguard to the most powerful Tellarites in the galaxy. Zephyr shook his head in wonder. The sheer gall of it, but also the compassion, the diplomacy. It's astounding that a species so young could grasp the nuances of interstellar politics so quickly. Indeed, King Orion's anger turned to pure shock. I don't think anyone has ever spoken to him like that before, with such respect, and yet such boldness. Draco chuckled. The humans must have remarkable technology to repair a ship as advanced as the Celestia, Zephyr mused, especially given their level of development. At that, Draco outright laughed. Oh, that's the best part. They didn't use any advanced technology. They patched the ship up with their own limited resources and pure ingenuity. Carbon fiber, titanium alloys, materials we consider practically archaic. Cultural exchange. During the 2 weeks Queen Andromeda was stranded on E42 with the humans, something remarkable happened. Draco continued. First off, Dixon had specialized accommodations built just for the Tellarites, an entire atmospheric chamber that perfectly replicated their native environment, down to the moisture levels and air composition. That's incredibly thoughtful and resourceful, given their limited technology, Zephyr commented. That's not all. Dixon organized these amazing cultural exchange programs. Tellarite engineers worked side by side with human scientists, sharing knowledge and learning from each other. Our people were fascinated by human ingenuity, while the humans soaked up advanced Tellarite tech like sponges. And the queen? How did she fare among the humans? She was absolutely amazed by their medical capabilities, especially for such a young species. Did you know they're already using nanobots for targeted drug delivery and tissue regeneration? Nanobots. But we didn't develop that technology until a century after we achieved interstellar travel. Exactly. Dixon made sure Queen Andromeda had access to their finest doctors and medical facilities. She said she learned more in those 2 weeks than in years of studying Telluric medicine. A symbolic gesture. As Queen Andromeda prepared to leave E42, Austin Dixon presented her with a gift, a sculpture crafted from the very wreckage of the Celestia. It depicted a human hand reaching out to a Tellurate hand in a gesture of friendship and solidarity. Zephyr's eyes widened. Symbolic. Powerful. The humans are more perceptive than I gave them credit for. That's not all. The sculpture was accompanied by a message from Dixon, a heartfelt expression of his hope that this incident would mark the beginning of a long and prosperous relationship between our species. And the king's reaction. He was moved, impressed by Dixon's sincerity. In that moment, any lingering doubts about the human's intentions vanished. Zephyr shook his head in wonder. To think a simple gesture of goodwill from a primitive species could have such an impact on our king. It was more than just a gesture, Draco insisted. It was a demonstration of the human character, their compassion, their desire for peaceful cooperation, qualities we Tellurites value highly. So, what did the king do? He immediately ordered our diplomats to establish formal relations with Earth. An invitation was extended to a delegation of human leaders, inviting them to Tellur Prime for a summit. The summit between the Tellurites and humans was scheduled to last for 10 days. It was unprecedented for the Tellurites to host a delegation for that long, let alone one from a primitive species. Zephyr nodded thoughtfully. It makes sense. The humans have already proven their worth as allies, their bravery, their ingenuity. If we can harness those qualities, it could be a game changer for the Tellurite Confederation. That's the idea, Draco agreed. And Dixon is the key to making it happen. He's the bridge between our two species. He understands our culture, our values, in a way that few outsiders ever have. But how will the Tellurite nobility react to a human ambassador? Zephyr wondered aloud. You know how strict they are about protocol and tradition. Draco's expression turned serious. You're right. There has been some resistance to the idea of a human ambassador. Some of the more conservative members of the court see it as a threat to our way of life. Surely they must recognize the benefits of an alliance with Earth. Some do, but others are blinded by their own prejudices. They see the humans as inferior, as a species to be exploited rather than respected. That's short-sighted. The humans have already proven themselves to be valuable allies. To dismiss them out of hand would be a grave mistake. I agree, but convincing the nobility won't be easy. It will take all of Dixon's diplomatic skills to win them over. If anyone can do it, it's Dixon. He has a way with people, a natural charisma that transcends species boundaries. Challenges ahead. Zephyr leaned back in his chair, his mind racing with possibilities. Just think of what we could accomplish together, humans and Tellurites working side by side, sharing knowledge, resources, technology. It's a brave new world. Dixon is at the forefront of it all, Draco agreed. The future of our species may very well rest on his shoulders. The two diplomats fell silent for a moment, each lost in their own thoughts. The arrival of the human delegation marked a turning point in Tellurate history, a chance to forge a new path, to build a better future for all. But as with any great change, there would be challenges along the way, obstacles to overcome, prejudices to confront. It would take courage, determination, and an unwavering belief in the power of diplomacy to see it through. Zephyr broke the silence, his voice filled with a mix of wonder and anticipation. What else has Prince Rael done to promote interspecies cooperation? Draco's expression brightened as he began to recount some of the prince's most notable achievements. Well, there was the time he convinced King Orion to establish a joint human Tellurate research station on. This is just the first part of the extended story. Let me know if you want me to continue with more parts, or if there are any specific elements or themes you'd like me to emphasize further. The friendship grows. The summit had been a remarkable success. Humans and Tellurites alike marveled at the rapid progress made in just 10 days. Delegates from both species engaged in passionate debates, exchanged cultural artifacts, and forged bonds of friendship that would last a lifetime. Austin Dixon, now a celebrated figure in both human and Tellarite societies, stood beside Queen Andromeda as they observed the final ceremony. The queen looked regal in her traditional attire, a gown woven with intricate patterns that told the history of her people. Dixon turned to her, a smile playing on his lips. "Your Majesty, it's been an honor to work alongside you. I believe this is just the beginning of a new era for both our species." Queen Andromeda nodded, her eyes reflecting a deep gratitude. "You've shown us that despite our differences, we can find common ground. Your people's resilience and ingenuity are truly inspiring." The ceremony concluded with a symbolic gesture, the planting of a tree that represented the growth and flourishing of their newfound alliance. As the roots took hold in the fertile soil of Tellar Prime, so too did the seeds of cooperation and mutual respect between humans and Tellarites. The unforeseen threat. As the months passed, the alliance between Earth and Tellar Prime continued to strengthen. Joint research projects yielded groundbreaking discoveries, and trade between the two worlds flourished. However, not everyone was pleased with this new development. Deep within the shadows of the galactic political landscape, a sinister force was gathering strength. The Zorgan, a powerful and ruthless alien race, viewed the burgeoning alliance with growing alarm. Their spies had been closely monitoring the developments, and they were determined to prevent the humans and Tellarites from becoming too powerful. In a darkened chamber aboard a massive Zorgan warship, High Commander Vrax glared at the holographic display before him. It showed images of humans and Tellarites working together, laughing and celebrating their achievements. "This cannot continue," Vrax snarled. "The humans are a threat to our dominance. They must be stopped." A cloaked figure stepped forward, bowing low. "What are your orders, High Commander?" Vrax's eyes gleamed with malice. "We will launch a preemptive strike. Target their most critical installations, the research station on Tellar Prime and the Terran defense grid. We will show them the folly of their alliance." The attack. The peaceful collaboration between humans and Tellarites was shattered one fateful night. Without warning, Zorgan warships descended upon Tellar Prime, their weapons blazing. The Joint Research Station, a symbol of their cooperation, was the first target. Austin Dixon was at the research station when the attack began. Alarms blared, and chaos erupted as scientists and engineers scrambled to defend themselves. Dixon rallied the defenders, his voice cutting through the panic. "Stay calm. We've trained for this. Get to your battle stations and hold the line." Meanwhile, Queen Andromeda coordinated the Tellarite forces from the royal palace. Her calm and decisive leadership inspired her people to stand firm against the invaders. But despite their best efforts, the situation grew increasingly dire. On Earth, the Terran defense grid activated, but it quickly became clear that the Zorgan had planned their attack meticulously. Key installations were hit, crippling humanity's ability to mount an effective defense. In the midst of the chaos, a message from Dixon reached Queen Andromeda. "Your Majesty, we need reinforcements. The research station is falling. We can't hold out much longer." Andromeda's heart clenched with fear, but she knew what had to be done. "Hold on, Austin. Help is on the way." The counterattack. The human-Tellarite alliance quickly regrouped, their combined forces launching a desperate counterattack against the Zorgan invaders. Austin Dixon and a team of elite soldiers fought valiantly to defend the research station, buying time for reinforcements to arrive. As the battle raged on, Dixon and his team managed to secure a strategic vantage point. Using advanced Tellarite technology, they hacked into the Zorgan communications network, gaining valuable intel on the enemy's movements. "Dixon, we've intercepted a transmission," one of his soldiers reported. "They're planning to target the palace next. We need to warn Queen Andromeda." Dixon's heart pounded. "We can't let that happen. Prepare to move out." With a mixture of human tenacity and Tellarite ingenuity, Dixon and his team fought their way through the enemy lines. Their determination and bravery inspired others to join the fight, and soon a united front of humans and Tellarites stood ready to defend their home. The final stand. The battle for Teller Prime reached its climax as Zorgan forces closed in on the royal palace. Queen Andromeda stood at the forefront, her eyes blazing with determination. She had donned her battle armor, ready to fight alongside her people. As Dixon and his team arrived at the palace, he locked eyes with the queen. "We're here, Your Majesty. We won't let them take this world." Andromeda nodded, a fierce pride swelling in her chest. "Together, we will prevail." The final battle was fierce and unrelenting. Dixon and Andromeda fought side by side, their combined strength and resolve turning the tide of the conflict. The humans and Tellarites, united by a common cause, pushed back the Zorgan invaders with a ferocity that left their enemies reeling. In the end, it was Dixon who delivered the decisive blow. Using a makeshift explosive device crafted from salvaged materials, he destroyed the Zorgan command ship, sending the remaining invaders into disarray. A new dawn. With the Zorgan threat neutralized, peace slowly returned to Teller Prime. The alliance between Earth and Teller Prime had been tested in the crucible of war, and it emerged stronger than ever. Queen Andromeda and Austin Dixon stood before a crowd of humans and Tellarites, their faces lit with the glow of a new dawn. The tree they had planted together now stood tall and proud, its branches reaching towards the sky. "This is just the beginning," Andromeda declared. "Together, we have shown that unity and cooperation can overcome even the greatest challenges. Let this be a beacon of hope for all species." Dixon smiled, his eyes filled with a quiet determination. "The future is ours to shape. As long as we stand together, there is nothing we cannot achieve." The crowd erupted in cheers, their voices echoing across the landscape. The bond between humans and Tellarites had been forged in fire, and it would endure for generations to come. Legacy of unity. Years passed, and the alliance between Earth and Teller Prime flourished. Joint ventures in technology, medicine, and exploration led to unprecedented advancements. The once isolated worlds now stood at the forefront of a new era of galactic cooperation. Austin Dixon, now an elder statesman, looked out over the bustling capital of Teller Prime. The city had been rebuilt, its skyline a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of both species. Beside him stood Queen Andromeda, her regal presence undiminished by the passage of time. "Look at what we've accomplished," Dixon said, his voice tinged with pride. "We've built something truly extraordinary." Andromeda nodded, her eyes reflecting the same pride. "And it all began with a simple act of compassion. Your people have shown us that even the smallest gestures can lead to great things." Dixon smiled, a sense of fulfillment settling over him. "The future is bright, Your Majesty. As long as we continue to work together, there's no limit to what we can achieve." And so, the legacy of unity and cooperation between humans and Tellarites continued to grow, a shining example of what could be accomplished when species put aside their differences and embraced their common humanity. The galaxy watched and learned, inspired by the story of a primitive human who saved an alien queen and changed the course of history forever.